4-year-old son who's extremely friendly. How can I explain to him how to be cautious about strangers without affecting his outgoing personality?
And from dealing with stranger danger to getting ready for another baby, our mama experts are back answering all your questions this morning.
Serving all of San Diego, this is your Fox 5 News.
Ask the Moms is back. We've got real mamas with real advice for all of your parenting questions. So let's meet today's panel, shall we? We have family medicine specialist Dr. Melinda Silva. In the middle there, blogger Mary Burt Godwin of the Mama Mary Show, and Dr. Rachel Goldenhar from the San Diego Psych Association. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Let's get right to it. Our first viewer question. Take it away.
So my two boys, who are 6 and 9, are obsessed with video games. What is an appropriate amount of time to let your child spend playing video games?
Aha. We got to cut them off, right?
Right. You know, having 3 boys, this is a really important lesson earlier, because that mom she had 6 and 9-year-olds, is that you want to limit the time that they have on any TV, electronics, iPad, you know, iPod, and according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, it's 1 to 2 hours of screen time. All of that together. So my kids, I have 3 boys, and I would set a limitation. Monday to Thursday, they couldn't have any of the video games, only electronics associated with school work. Yeah. And they thought I was just like the devil. Because you can't,
I bet.
You know, Nick and Jake can play video games all day long. How come we have to do it? But it's really important to set up the rules early so they have that expectation. So they're not thinking, oh, I'm going to go home and play.
That's smart.
And spending even a couple days a week that don't have anything, and any TV at all, that's what my pediatrician recommends. Having a day or 2 that you just don't have any screen time. And then this is not necessarily realistic in society and in our, you know, being a working mom or whatever. I do sometimes rely on video games or TV. But it is important to try to have those days where you just don't have it at all, and setting it, when they're young. I mean, my kids are 4 and 6, and they can work that iPad like nobody's business, and they want videos and they want games.
And you'll notice that the behavior will be different after the video game. You will, if you do a little test. But there have been studies that have looked at the pleasure center in the brain actually is very stimulated after during video game use, and so it's very addicting. And they've actually looked at boys versus girls, and boys actually, their brains are even more stimulated in that pleasure center. So that might explain why boys are really drawn to video games and really hooked on them, because they get a lot of enjoyable pleasure from being on.
There are thankfully some good games like that teach kids things. Educational games.
Right. Okay. So real briefly, 1 to 2 hours a day, and stay away from it completely. Maybe 2 days, 3 days a week. Is that kind of
1 to 2 days? 1 to 2 days a week is more realistic.
Don't go crazy. Okay. Let's go ahead and get to our next viewer question.
I have an 8 and a 10-year-old, and they love to roughhouse. So my question is, at what point do I interfere and stop the roughhousing before it goes too far?
This is why I'm glad I have girls.
I say before they get a concussion.
Right. I mean, boys love to roughhouse. They are very physical. They do like to, you know, play around. But I think safety is a big concern. And if someone says no, then you really, you know, your boys need to know. No, stop. Really respecting that and stopping right away, and keeping an eye and talking to them about what's safe and how far is too far. Nothing around the neck, obviously. Play. What thoughts?
No passing out or blood involved, probably.
Right.
And you have to look at the age differential. The closer they are to age, the more secure that you're going to feel like they're not going to hurt each other. Because my boys are 4 years apart, so I don't want the teenager to roughhouse with a 6-year-old. You know what I mean? You just got to make sure that they understand their limitations.
Real quickly, let's get to our last viewer question.
I have a 4-year-old son who's extremely friendly. How can I explain to him how to be cautious about strangers without affecting his outgoing personality?
Well, Mama Mary, we'll let you start with that one.
That's a good one. You know, I talk about this with my pediatrician, actually, and he said to, because I like my kids to greet people when they're greeted by the store clerk, to say hi back, and I'm trying to teach them to look people in the eye and talk to them, which is all great, but my pediatrician talks about really differentiating what a stranger is early on when they're 4 or 5 years old, talking about what a stranger is, and that could be somebody that's not at your house. Have they come to dinner at your house? Have you had a play date with them? You know, do you know their first name? And so they can know whether or not so when mom is not there, or when your dad is not there, that is when you really shouldn't necessarily be talking. But otherwise, it's okay to engage in that conversation.
Right. Okay, let's we'll talk more about this next time too, because this is a really important issue, and you guys are going to be hanging around answering more questions. We do have more questions to get to. By the way, if you want to send in a question, you can do that. All you have to do is upload it to our YouTube link, or you can email us a video directly at fox5morningnews@tribune.com. Raul sent me a great article. What was it, last week, on the tricky people versus strangers, Raul?
I'm all over it.
You're all over that. I'm going to put that on my Twitter, actually, because he sent a really good article about how to talk to your kids about tricky people versus necessarily strangers, because you don't want to be rude to, like you said, the nice people.
Right.
So, yeah, that was a good article, Raul. I sent that to my sisters.
I can be an Ask the Mom segment too, right? I can ask the moms and